Welcome back, Financial Fitness. We talked about what it takes to be a champion last week. I don't think you can listen to that track by Queen and not be in a good mood. That's kind of another one of those songs that is just universally gonna hype you up and make you feel good for a minute. So we were talking champions, what it takes to be a champion, and it's not just about sports, and there's champions in all walks of life, whether it's doctors, lawyers, people in business or sales. Being a champion to me is being the best at what you do and always striving to be the best at what you do. And it's funny, we were talking, and my son Landon's with me tonight on the air, state champion football quarterback, and was in a championship program at Catholic High with champion caliber coaches, and is now working in a sales environment in our office at Intelligent Mortgage. And it's been interesting to watch as basically an 18-year-old rookie comes in, and it's kind of like Kobe coming in the league or LeBron coming in the league, and he's shining on all the veteran salespeople. And a lot of that comes from that championship pedigree, that work ethic. And I think in his first or second full month, really it's his first full month on the floor, he'll be possibly my number one sales producer. He'll definitely have the most loans closed on the team, and that's a testament to athletes and champions and people who have that drive. So Landon, welcome to the show. Your first time coming on air with me.
Yes, sir.
So,
appreciate it.
So, going from football, 18 years old, and now in the real world, working in a sales environment, high pace. How did you transition and move so quickly from being a high school student and star athlete to now going to arguably be our top producer at Intelligent Mortgage in your first month?
So just being in that program at Catholic High and being a student over at Catholic, they really just mold you into the young man that you need to be, and especially in that football program. I mean, sports translates so much over to business, translates to life in general, but especially in sales, because at Catholic, we always talked about just doing one thing at a time and just stacking them on each other. And so that's what I really did when I came into this mortgage business. I mean, one day at a time, learning one more thing every single day, being in the office with you, just taking everything I can, just like when I was a freshman at Catholic, taking everything I can from the upperclassmen at Catholic, like right. Cam Dartez and Jackson Thomas, just every single day trying to just take one little thing from them and then helping me become a better player. Yeah. Just like when I came into the office, trying to learn one new thing every single day from you and from your assistant and the other loan officers there. But really the competitiveness that I have ever since I was a kid, just seeing like the board that we have at Intelligent Mortgage, it'll have all the loan officers and the units closed. And when I see that, I'm so competitive that I want to be number one. I want to be ahead of Mr. Brandon.
I want my salespeople to beat me. I don't want to be the top sales guy. I want to be the CEO.
Yeah, and so another thing that Catholic football they really mold you into a young man that is disciplined and just takes one thing at a time. Just like in football, I mean, you take one play at a time, one quarter at a time. I take one client at a time. If something goes wrong in a game, I throw an interception. It translates to life. Like I had a client last week where we were one day away from closing, and then the lender told us, "Hey, we're not gonna be able to do that." So, one, that's money down the drain, that's time down the drain, and that's a client we let down. Yeah. And that's just like sports. I mean, I go out on the field, and if I throw an interception, I just let the team down. Right. And then it's my job to flush it and get to the next play, like the coaches always taught me. Just like the other day when that loan fell through, I mean, I immediately thought to myself, all right, do I let this ruin my whole day, or do I move on to the 10 other clients who are counting on me? You know.
Exactly. No, that's a great point. You know, and you said a few things there that we touched on a little bit last week with being a champion, and like learning one new thing each day. Like we talk about at the office, 1%. Getting 1% better every week. If you just improve 1% a week, you're 50% better at the end of the year than you started. And building on that, so those little things, that's where athletes who've been in, like you said, the lessons you've learned, I didn't learn those lessons till my 30s. I wish I learned those in high school. And, of course, the high school I went to, they nicknamed Weed Lawn. So there's a reason I didn't learn those lessons at my high school. So we didn't have that upbringing and that championship caliber. I don't know. It's so sad, but we didn't have that. Culture and the environment you're in is so key in learning and learning those life lessons, and you got some extremely valuable ones at an early age. And you were at the house with me over last week. One of my friends who's an NFL agent, we were talking some investing strategies. We're going to talk about that on one of our next segments. Some killer crypto tips. We've got an inside scoop here. There's a brand new cryptocurrency here in Baton Rouge, so we're going to touch on that. I'm going to just give you all a little teaser right now in the first segment. We're going to go into that next segment. But as a young man, you learned the value of, like you said, 1% each day, one thing, and building a little bit each day. Your normal person can't practice for 6 weeks before they see results. Your normal person out there can't diet for 8 weeks without seeing major results. People just can't stick to those daily disciplines every day before seeing results. So we're short-sighted as Americans, and we expect immediate gratification.
Right, and another thing with that is once you see the results, once you get paid maybe after a big month, is staying determined and staying on top of your craft.
Yeah.
Just like, at Catholic, we go, if we win the first 3 games in the playoffs and get to the state championship, like, okay, who cares? We won 3 games in the playoffs. What's that going to do,
Yep.
Who's going to remember us for going to the state championship if we don't win it, right? Right, so that translates to work again. Like, I even sometimes, like, some days I don't even feel motivated, and then I'm just like, all right, well, what's the end goal? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
You touched on something that we said, and you've heard me say it in meetings we talked about last week on the show. Culturally here, we celebrate our victories for too long, and that's a big problem. Like you said, someone has a big sales month, or we win a couple of games. You and I watched that video. It was just a little couple of, like a 30-second clip of Kobe Bryant, and the news reporter is asking him why he's not smiling. They're up 2-0 in the series, and Kobe's exact response was, "What's there to smile about?" And he goes, "Well, you're up 2-0. He goes, "Are we finished? Game's not finished. Job's not finished.
Yeah, right.
The job's not finished. So why would I be smiling?" And he was so stern and so cold, and they're up 2-0 in the playoffs, but he was ice cold, no emotion, because job's not done.
Which is why he was one of the greatest.
Yeah, he was a killer, So those little things is what makes champions. And again, being a champion in business is going to help you become more financially sound for your family, for your future. So we're going to come back after this short commercial break with more tips on being a champion in business and in life here on Financial Fitness.
Prescription products require an online consultation.
Nice.
See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might
That was good.
Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40. But the solution is simple. Find it at fourhands.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was
No. I'm just going to hype it up as a low, and I'm not an investment advisor.
Right.
Now our love life.
Yeah, Sean. Sean may call in if you want to. I told him to call in around 6:30.
Okay, so it's called.
Yeah.
I think they think it's coming.
Sean said the sound is really low.
Get a free medical consultation.
Sean said
Welcome back. Financial fitness in the house. Save that money. You guys need to save that money if you want to be a champion. And right now, we're in studio with a champion quarterback, Mr. Landon O'Conner, quickly becoming a sales champion at Intelligent Mortgage. And if you weren't listening to the first segment, it was dynamite with some great insight from a young athlete who's learned things that I didn't learn till my 30s and 40s. And if you guys could send your kids to a program like Catholic or another program where they get those life lessons, those business lessons, and it's not business schooling, it's the sports and the coaching and the atmosphere, the culture. It grooms these kids to be champions in anything they do, and that's something we're really big on here, is making our audience better in their business, in their finances, in their personal life. So tips, things I've learned through years of expensive coaching, business coaching, and things I've had to pay tens of thousands of dollars for. I like to just give those lessons out for free on the air because I want to enrich our audience. There's so much toxic news and media out there. We want our show to be something more positive that brings something also of value to our clients. If they learn a lesson that they could take back and again apply it in their business, then that's something huge. I always try to think of something that I wish I'd have learned early in my career and talk about some of those things on the air, because it would have put me light years ahead. Last year we talked about hiring a coach. You had amazing coaches at Catholic High. I've hired business coaches later in my career when I had good enough income and I thought, well, okay, now I can afford it. But hindsight, I should have invested that money in business coaches when I thought I couldn't afford it. 15, 20 years ago, bit the bullet, maybe not bought a motorcycle or not going out to eat or not done some of the things and really sacrificed more of the basic, just life spending and invested that in a business, a success coach. Because having great coaches and people around you is key. And you've had some great coaches, and they might not always tell you what you want to hear, but a good coach isn't there to tell you what you want to hear. They're there to make you better and give you those tough lessons. So I want to ask you, coming into sales, coming out of sports, what would be one lesson for young entrepreneurs, young business people in the time that you've gone through Catholic and now at Intelligent Mortgage, that has been kind of a key thing that's helped you have such immediate success getting into a high? I mean, mortgages is one of the hardest and the highest paid sales there is. So to have that kind of success at an early age in a short time, what would be a tip you would want to share with the listeners?
So I said the main thing is just discipline. Learned it all 4 years at Catholic, in the classroom, especially on the football program, every day at football practice, just learning discipline in the weight room, never skipping a rep, taking every single rep serious. When you're getting a rep at practice, making the most of it. Even when you're not in at practice, being behind your position group. When I was a sophomore and junior, or even when I was a senior, the starting quarterback at Catholic for Tita, our offensive coach, we would always be behind the backups, repping out the plays, acting like we were in. Right, because you're not going to get every single look every single day. So just maximizing your time is the main thing. Being disciplined and maximizing your time at work. I mean, getting in there before 9 o'clock. Not when you're in there, not just looking at your phone, staying on top of all your files and being organized was one of the main things. At Catholic in school, you had to stay organized to be on top of everything. And those are the main things that I learned from Catholic, is just being disciplined and staying organized. Because just like in sales, I mean, you'll have 12 to 15 different clients you're talking to every day, daily. So I mean, you need to be able to be disciplined in terms of listing everything out before the day and checking them off, accomplishing them. Not letting other things sway you away from doing what you need to do that day.
Avoiding distractions.
Exactly.
Is key.
Yep, and then just being able to stay disciplined throughout the whole day and just being able to knock out those simple tasks, which lead to a much bigger and better prize. I mean, I have a client who I'll knock down each single little task, like a Cinnamon MBS highway presentation, which shows him what rate he has on his house versus the rate we're getting him. That's one thing. That's if I'm getting paid at the end of the day $2,000 on a deal, if that, I look at it as that MBS highway presentation was $250, right? I don't look at it as, oh my gosh, I have to do this proposal for him, you know?
Everything you do has value.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in sales.
Yeah, and so people are short-sighted in sales and they don't do the daily activities. You know, they slack. Last week you mentioned the MBS Highway. For you guys listening out there, it's a software we use to send out presentations, and I pulled up, without them knowing why I was getting on their desk, I said, hey, let me see your MBS Highway, and I pulled up each person's MBS Highway, and the guys whose production had slipped had sent the least number of proposals in the last 90 days. So it was clearly tracked back to just the simple not taking the extra 5 minutes to do a really well presented, detailed graph and proposal. And the software does most of the work for you. You just have to input the data. So, you know, I can go back to the fundamentals, why they were struggling and where their numbers fell off pace, and it was an easy fix, and you know, now I'll check that every single week. And as a coach, my job to make sure I'm checking the X's and O's and looking at the little things, but there's only so much you can do too. The players have to execute.
Right.
You know, you said something that was really intriguing when you said you guys, when you were watching and when you weren't a starter or the other positions were in or the backups were in, you guys were still running those drills in your head or acting them out on the sideline, whereas when I was in high school, if we weren't on the field, we were goofing off with our friends. And it was just a whole different culture. It wasn't structured and disciplined like that, and you see that on the field with other teams that you guys play against.
Right, and on top of that, like me and my buddy, we were sophomores, and coach was coaching us in the back of the drill. We were watching film, and he coached the starter, of course, at first, and then he rewinded it, and he was like, Landon, what are you looking at right here? And I was like, you're right. He coached every single guy in that program, which is why that program stays so successful. Yeah. Because they value you as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior, and as a senior. Just like in the office, I mean, just how you went and looked at everybody's MBS proposals. You're checking in on everybody. You're coaching every single person in that office when you have more files than anybody in the office, right? So you're the busiest person, just like our coach, but y'all are both over there helping, making sure everybody is on doing what they're doing and staying on task. And another huge thing is just mimicking what the greats do, right? So when I'm at the office, I mimic what you do. I go listen to your calls, listen to how you present things, listen to how you sell. Just like at Catholic, I would mimic when I was a freshman, I would mimic what the senior did, right? Just like little kids, they'll mimic what Patrick Mahomes does, like Asher. He'll mimic what Conor McGregor does, right? Right. So it's just...
Exactly. I liked my good friend, and you know, Brian Moses loves you. Brian Moses was on the show, one of the most successful real estate gurus, and now one of the top business coaches in America. But Brian Moses, a good friend of mine, his quote was, "Success leaves clues." And looking at people who have done great things, who've been champions, who are great in their field, and I saw you won some brownie points there when he said follow the great ones, and you threw me in that mix. I might be buying dinner for that one. But success leaves clues. There's no new magic formula for success, just like there's no new magic formula to being a great athlete. You know, there's a tried and true proven formula, and if you listen to good coaches, good people, and people who've been successful, and yeah, like you said, mimic the great ones, mimic the people who have been highly successful, you do those things that they did, and you do them consistently. You mentioned discipline, and discipline is key and consistency. Those are two things that are very, very similar, and those two things are what lacks in most of our society is discipline and consistency. You know, if you have those two things, you can accomplish anything with the hard work that goes along with it. Because if you're disciplined, you don't have a problem with hard work. So discipline is doing the things that you don't want to do and doing them like you love them. I saw that quote from, I think it was Mike Tyson. So we're going to come back after this short commercial break with more financial fitness tips on becoming a champion. Welcome back. Our third segment here, Financial Fitness. We are in the second half of the show, and we have a brilliant caller calling in. He's actually going to be running one of our new branches of Intelligent Mortgage. And I want to remind everyone, if you're watching Facebook Live on my personal page, you can't hear the callers call in. So I ask you guys to tune into the Facebook Live for Talk 107.3 or obviously 107.3 FM so you can hear our caller and get the most out of this next segment, because going to be some good insight. And again, another very disciplined, as Landon was talking about prior to the break, champion on our team, Mr. Sean Brignac. So if you want to bring Sean on the air. Hey Sean, how you doing tonight? I'm great. Landon and I are in studio. I don't know if you caught the first part of the show and have been able to listen in, or if you've been busy working. Okay, awesome. So you know where we're at. I don't have to bring you up to speed. And so Sean is another exemplary employee of hard work, discipline, and you know, I say he might be the only guy that works harder than me, because Sean also ran a full-time division at Marathon Petroleum while being one of our top salespeople. So, you know, he was working sometimes turnarounds. There have been days when Sean has come in and done a full 24-hour shift where he was at the plant, then came in, handled his sales, and then went back to the plant that night. So kudos to Sean for that level of dedication and hard work. And it's really paying off, starting your own office and your own branch over on the Diversion Canal. So I'm real excited for the grand opening and the Diversion Canal kickoff there on the water. So tell us a little bit about your journey and where you're at now with your beautiful home there on your new office going to be opening soon there on Diversion Canal.
Well, Brandon, if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of take a step back and kind of how we met. I was looking for a home, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I didn't have the greatest credit, and I wasn't doing the right things financially. And I got with Brandon, and we put together a plan, and he actually coached me to get my finances in order, give me approved for a loan, and then I got that house, and now I'm actually moved into my dream home years later on the Diversion Canal, where I want to live my entire life. And because, you know, at the time I asked Brandon about, you think I can do mortgages? He said, yeah. He told me what to do. I went to school, I got certified, and then took it from there. And with his guidance, I'm just highly successful. So it's been a good thing.
Absolutely. And you know, my father-in-law will use the saying a lot of times. He always says players make coaches. You know, so there's some good coaches out there that just don't have the talent. And you know, so good players and people like yourself and Landon, where you know, yes, I gave you the plan, but there's 50 other people that I've given a plan to that don't work it, don't execute it to its entirety or at all. You know, I same thing with nutrition. When I was bodybuilding, I would do nutrition plans for people all the time, and 9 out of 10 people wouldn't follow it and wouldn't stay consistent. So, you know, it's definitely a testament to you as well. You know, you exemplify what Intelligent Mortgage and what hard work and dedication can really do. Because like you said, you know, I mean, I wasn't going to bring up credit, but you said, I mean, your credit wasn't where it needed to be. And now your credit is immaculate. You are making very good income, and you just bought the house of your dreams with a backyard oasis with a pool overlooking the Diversion Canal. It's freaking beautiful. I could sit out there all day, every day.
Right.
You know, so you know, when you were looking at houses, you know, you probably remember what I told you whenever you said, well, what do you think about buying this house? So I don't know, I can't quite quote it on air because we'd get censored, but yeah, basically, whenever you say F it, do what you want, you can make it happen. You've worked hard, you deserve it, so go get it.
And that's what I think too about this company. I've had several other sales jobs. They'll tell you a dream of success or a dream of, you know, what you're going to make. And man, here it's laid out for you where it's not a dream. If you put in the hard work, you know, the structure that this company has, you know, look at me. I've been working there, and I'm already, you know, starting my own branch and hiring my own employees, and hopefully I can do for them what you did to me one day, and pass it forward.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome, and I think you have all the tools and have shown all the qualities because you get the hard work. You know, Landon's sitting right here shaking his head, yes, because that's the main thing. I mean, it all starts with hard work. You know, that any of these fly-by-night, get-rich-quick things that tell you can work less and make more and have more, yeah, that's a pipe dream. You know, you got to put in the work before you get the quality of life. You can get the quality of life and some vacation and some of that later, but you got to hustle. You got to be willing to grind and sacrifice it first, and then enjoy the fruits of your labor. But never celebrate those victories for too long, because if you look at our boy Coach O, guy was the champion, was on top of the mountain, and took his foot off the accelerator just long enough, and look how easily that came crashing down. So you can't ever slack. You can't ever let up once you're on that rise. So.
And it's funny you was mentioning that. My bicycles, I posted that yesterday, and it resonated.
Oh, was that you that posted it? Oh, I stole that.
Like, you know, the hustle is about, you know, do it like you love it. You know, whether you hear it or not, do it like you love it.
Yeah.
If you love what you're doing, you can help it get successful, you know?
Yeah. I went to the gym the other night. I was so tired, and I've been wanting to get back to being in peak shape because I had an injury last year that sidelined me for 9 months. And I remembered something last week. I told myself, you know, you have to work out harder when you're tired instead of taking a night off. And so I went in at 9:30 at night and hit a good workout. So, you know, I'm super excited for you and everything that you're accomplishing out there on that diversion branch. It's going to be absolutely explosive. We're going to make sure everyone knows when our grand opening is as well.
Right, it's been amazing. Like, I hired a brand new, we went over to Michigan last week and just hung out with the #1 wholesale lender, you know, the wholesale market.
Yes.
Got some tips, just saw how they handle business, learn about leadership.
Yeah, how was it hanging out with a billionaire out there, Matt Ishbia, huh?
Oh, it was, yeah, hanging on billionaires. Like the people that you come back with a car just motivated me to want to take my branch to the next level, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, that's phenomenal, and you know, some huge opportunities with United Wholesale Mortgage, the training, you know, things like that you guys are going and doing. You know, you guys are taking the time to get better. You guys are practicing. You guys are working on your craft to get better, and that's a lot of the stuff Landon was talking about earlier, which is what it takes to be a champion, and a lot of that's hard work, practice, dedication, and so again, Sean, I'm so excited for you, for the diversion branch. And speaking of champions, we got a World Series champion, two-time World Series champion, Mr. Ryan Terrio on hold. We'll bring Ryan on in just a moment here. Sean, anything you want to say to the audience before signing off?
I just want to make people aware that we're there, man. Like the Diversion Canal, Waterfall, that whole area. We can be your local lender. We're not, you know, we are a nationwide lender, but if we could have that local flair, the local feel, where you don't have to go to Baton Rouge, and you can deal with me directly right there, pretty much in your home neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's what we want to start.
Ton of people buying over there on diversion.
definitely want to be that local feel, that local flavor. That's what makes us different, that family atmosphere, you know.
Perfect. Well, Sean, we appreciate you. We can't wait to see the diversion branch explode and become the next top producing office for Intelligent Mortgage. So thank you again for making the intelligent choice, my friend. And with that, I'm gonna bring on Mr. Ryan Terrio before the break, and then we'll finish out the segment with. Okay, we'll bring him on after the break because we're about to take a short commercial break. So Sean, everybody out there, you guys stay salivated. Thanks to Salivate, our main sponsor here, the #1 energy drink, natural, fresh, and absolutely the best energy drink you can get. So thank you guys again for tuning in. We got one more segment left here on Financial Fitness, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Our final segment here. We're going to close the show. We were talking champions, what it takes to be a champion. Also, we alluded to a little crypto tip. We have one of the biggest champions to come out of Baton Rouge on the line right now on hold. If you want to bring on Mr. Ryan Terrio, two-time World Series champion. Ryan, LSU national champion. Welcome to Financial Fitness. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good, Brandon. Appreciate you having me, my boy.
Oh, it's always a treat to have you on the air. And we were talking, if you were listening earlier, my son is in here with me, state quarterback champion, and we were talking what it takes to be a champion and, you know, how champions succeed in business. And you're a testament to that. We were talking, you know, Hudco Roofing a couple weeks ago after the hurricane on air. You would come on with me. And all of the business endeavors I've seen you go into, you've been highly successful. And that all came from kind of like Landon, that background in sports and that hard work and the disciplines and things that you guys had. So, you know, before we touch on GameCoin and kind of throw that tip out there to our audience, you know, what would you say was kind of the biggest thing that you took from sports and your upbringing, you know, from when we were kids at Sherwood Middle watching you play baseball till a World Series champion? I mean, how did you translate that into such success in each business that you've gone into?
And I think being able to operate in different rooms is important. You know, I think having a respect of your peers around you, but also, you know, those that you're trying to do business with is super important. You know, and then the question becomes how do you achieve that success or that respect rather? You know, and it's simple, really. You know, you treat others the way that you want to be treated, and you know, you never be the smartest one in the room.
Right.
You know, surround yourself with people that are better than you, people that make you better. You know, and be okay with taking advice. If it's hard too much, too many times, you know, guys and gals in business, you know, they want to be the smartest one in the room. They want to run the show and call the shots, which is fine. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, it takes a lot of different personalities and a lot of different opinions and thoughts.
Yeah.
To be successful and being okay with doing that, similar to being on a sporting team.
Right.
And Landon can attest to that as well. You know, everybody has their role, and if you execute and if you accept your role and you're good at it, then your team wins rings. If you try to do things that you're not good at and you know, don't accept your role, then you don't. It's real simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, letting other people have their role and not being the smartest one in the room. I've said that and heard that over the years, and I wish I learned that 20 years ago because I spent a long time and our ego gets in the way. You know, we're most of us at the top in business are alphas, and so taking a back seat and realizing that someone is smarter than you in this area, someone's better than you at this. You know, again, Landon doesn't want me playing on the offensive line at 5'6", 185 pounds. That's not my role. I don't belong there. You know, so knowing your role and staying in your lane is definitely key as a CEO or a business owner, and trusting your team and putting the right people in place in the right positions for the team. So that's a huge tip there from one of the best who's done it on the field and now in business. His businesses are thriving. Traction. I love seeing that facility, man. My boy played flag football out there. Landon played baseball. Yeah, I mean, what you guys built out there is amazing for the community and for these kids and sports. And something else that you and Matt Moscona and some friends of mine here locally have brought to my attention that also can do a lot for kids and for the community, and also be a huge financial windfall potentially for some of you crypto investors. Gamecoin is a new crypto that was started here locally in Baton Rouge. So we kind of have an inside scoop on this thing, and it has a real good foundation though behind it, where it's also going to be helping athletes and paying for athletes through their charitable contributions, and then a lot of champion athletes are going to be jumping on board soon. So what has your experience been so far? You've kind of seen a little bit of the start of Gamecoin, and your take on it, seeing it recently here, and from an athlete's perspective, what it's going to be doing for athletes and the community and kids.
Yeah, I think, educating yourself on exactly what Gamecoin is and what the future holds for it is very important. You hear the chatter around Baton Rouge and surrounding areas, but there's a couple different levels to it. And like anything, I vetted it, read over the white papers and looked at potential and what this thing could be. And, most importantly, Brandon, the people that are calling the shots here are guys that I've grown up with and you've known for a long time as well. And so, knowing their character and where their heart is and what they're trying to accomplish is important. It really, in a nutshell, it's changing the way that we view sports, and youth sports in particular. The trading card craze has hit the world by storm, and for these kids to have a digital trading card and to be able to brand themselves, it's perfect. It hits the NIL space right between the eyes.
Right.
When you're seeing some college athletes jump on board and professional athletes as well. But when you talk about Gamecoin, really in a nutshell, giving these kids the ability to get their stats out there,
right,
recruited easier, to be in the eye of recruiters and even maybe companies that would like to invest in these kids and give them an opportunity to rep their product.
Yeah.
People need to look at and understand. It's foreign, right? It's nothing that we've ever seen before. But I'll say this: I do believe it's the future of the way sports cards are going to be traded. I think it's the future of the way kids will be recruited. The idea is mind-blowing. When I read it, it took me some time to wrap my head around it.
Me too. Yeah.
I went, oh my God. These guys have figured it out. Now I hope everybody else sees it. So yeah, man. I'm definitely in. I'm a part of it. And following where the business goes and when they're going to be able to launch the platform. They've already given away over $500,000 in charitable donations.
That's amazing. And a company's 3 months old now. I think August was when it launched, with the first crypto tokens being available to the public. So, to give away $500,000 in your first year, much less first 3 or 4 months, to charitable causes is tremendous. So,
the philanthropic aspect of this business is like nothing I've ever seen. And that's a pat on the back to the guys that started this, guys that had this vision. David Mailer, Frankie Batto, have just done an amazing job with the traction, for lack of a better word,
right,
thus far. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm proud to say too that this is a Baton Rouge deal. As much momentum as it has, it's local.
It's still local, and that's why again. Let me throw this out there on, make sure we're on record. We're not financial advisors. We're not saying that, but right now, from an inside, again, crypto, there's always risk in crypto, but if you're a local person listening to the show and you have some extra money that you want to take a chance on something, it has tremendous upside, and it is still extremely affordable right now at only 1.8 cents. So, that is something that, and again, it's for a good cause. It has so much, like you said. How would you have liked to have had your own NFT card when you were playing at LSU, and think of like the NIL possibilities when you were playing college ball at LSU? How nice that would have been, huh?
Oh, it's amazing. And I mean, look, it's not just college. It's down to the collegiate level. I mean, imagine having an NFT from LeBron James when he was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
Or Derek Jeter when he was in high school.
Right.
And now this gives you the ability to do that. And look, I got news for you. There's kids running around Baton Rouge and surrounding areas that are going to play in the Major League. They're going to play in the NFL. I mean, those kids are here.
Yeah, that would be before the Michael Jordan rookie card. So what was it? I think Tom Brady. Someone made an NFT of a famous picture, and it sold for what, $750,000. It was something an artist did or something, a rendering. I forget exactly the story, but they made a digital NFT of it, only one of its kind, and it sold for six figures. So this thing could have huge memorabilia value as well, like you said. So and the charity for the kids, I think, is awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the people that are behind it, they're doing it for the right reasons, and you've got a lot of momentum. And I would just encourage people, if they are interested, to go to gamecoin.net and read about it. I mean, the white papers are there, the roadmap is there, the vision for the business is there. The philanthropic endeavors are there. And so you're seeing more and more athletes join every day. That are GameCoin athletes. That's through NIL.
Right.
But not to let the cat out of the bag, but you're going to see some pretty high-profile athletes that aren't collegiate.
Right.
They'll be part of the team.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left before about one minute left. So, Landon. Being on the air, hopefully you'll be one of the GameCoin athletes. He's a GameCoin investor already. He bought in with me. We put he put. I said, how much money you got saved up, son? So he threw a couple $1,000 in it because he believes in it and sees the upside. And it was funny. He's watching. He's like, hey, look, it's up. I'm up $200. So he was getting excited. It's his first.
It's addicting. It's hard to not watch it.
When it's going up, you're watching that ticker climb. Like when I 4 times my initial buy-in, I was like, oh, this is getting exciting.
I remember my first night when I invested into it. I woke up at 3 a.m. for some reason. First thing I did, I went and checked it. I was like, all right, let me see where it's at, and then went right back to sleep.
So, yeah, exactly. I text Terry out of the blue one day when it had jumped up, and he goes, oh my God, I'm sitting here talking to my wife about putting some more money in right now. so it was funny. Landon was in my office the other day when you called, and he was like, we had just bought his, and he was asking me what I think, and I go, well, here's Terry on speakerphone. And so, it was funny. You had called, and then Matt Moscona, right while he was sitting there during that 20 minutes of doing his first buy-in and stuff. So, but again, it's one of those things. I'm excited because it's local, it's organic, it's coming out of here. And from being on my show as a local business owner, that's one of my big things on Financial Fitness is bringing local businesses on air to publicize those businesses and bring those up. So we got about 5 seconds left, Ryan, if you want to tell anybody good night tonight, and then we're going to be signing off here from Financial Fitness.
I appreciate you having me, man, and y'all have a good one. Landon, good to hear from you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Good talking to you.
Thanks again, Ryan.